What's going on, people? Number one interview platform in the streets. We are not for the radio. Posty, Chams, myself, Viz in the building. Another special guest in a bit of a slightly different location, but it's all good. We got the legend Mike Skinner. What's happening?
Thank you for having me.
Nah,
yeah.
Well, I felt like it almost didn't happen because sent you a couple of messages and you was a bit skeptical to begin with.
No. And what I actually said was I need to lose some weight.
You did.
That's what I said.
Yeah, you did.
It wasn't about you, because I'm nervous. You know, I'm nervous because this is the main event. This is the show.
Why is it the main event?
Appreciate
why? Because you're actually a legend. Why do you see this as being the main event?
No, I mean it just is. It's just like it's the one thing that you watch every episode of, isn't it? Like it was on. You know.
No, we appreciate that.
Your people that you arrived with today said you turned down some big shows, but you didn't want to turn down Not For The Radio, so we appreciate that. Thank you.
No, it's calm, literally. Like, thank you for having me.
All right, so you're back on the scene,
and I've never noticed your watch before, man.
Oh no, please, let's take it off.
Yeah.
Mike's got the big boy on.
I leave that.
Do I need to take mine off?
No, you're good. You're good. It's keeping me focused.
That's what you do.
I know what I need to do in life.
So what's been going on, man? We seeing your face out and about again, and you know, you're talking and you're here, you're visible.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Well, I've been doing a club night for about 3 years, putting on parties with Merkage, who are legends in Manchester and up north. So that I've been doing that for like 3 years, and that's kind of going well. We're doing a stage at NAS Festival. I've been directing stuff. Like I did a thing for Alexa Chung. We did a thing for Copperberg and different things like that. And then I just started sort of making music because it just sort of sounded. I mean, I haven't stopped making music really, but it never really sounded like I wanted it to sound in my head.
So you got this new thing.
Yeah, the new thing is called The Darker the Shadow, The Brighter the Light. It really, actually, it started because I've been writing a film.
Yeah.
And it was going to be the soundtrack to that. And then, actually, I started to make songs and they really quickly became nothing to do with the film. So the film's going to have a different name, I think.
Talk to us about the title, though, or what your name now, Darker the Shadow.
The Brighter the Light. Yeah, I mean, again, it was originally what the film was going to be called. And
what was the film about?
It's about, so it's like a sort of detective thing, like a classic Hollywood detective thriller. But instead of being like a detective, like a washed up detective, I'm like a washed up DJ. Because it actually sort of writes itself, really, because there's so much stuff happening in nightclubs. Like you could literally open the wrong door and you're like in crime. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just
what's the craziest
crime
thing?
Is just behind every door. Do you know what I mean?
What's the craziest thing that's happened to you? Because I mean, you've done the arenas, stadiums, the club
actually,
nights.
Ritz. God, I mean, to be honest, I've written about most of it and sung about it, but. I mean, it was. I woke up with a ice statue in my bath once.
An ice statue?
Yeah, that was.
What, made of ice?
Yeah.
And it was still cold?
Yeah, to be honest, it takes a few days for ice. It doesn't melt. Like, it takes a few days to melt.
Okay.
So otherwise, it would just. When you see them at a party, they're not like melted by the end of the party.
I've woken up with an ice queen, but never an ice statue. It's normally.
Can we talk about that?
Upset about my performance, but not the actual statue. That's crazy. So before we talk into like the more recent projects, which we definitely want to hear more detail about, I want to start talking about how like you kind of got into music, because as a fan, before I realized your genius as a musician. When I was younger, I don't know, you might have came out when I was like 16 maybe or 15, and I heard you first rap. No, what was that? Age thing again?
Every day.
Oh, no. I was just trying to remember
He's
that
obsessed
time.
with it. You're young, Posty.
Yeah.
Young boss.
No, leave it like that.
Anyway.
But at first, I didn't get it straight away. Do
Yeah.
you understand what I'm trying to say? So, how are you that brave to kind of start rapping like that? And how did you kind of get into it? Did you even understand your genius? Did you take yourself that seriously straight away?
I took myself serious. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, you have to. Yeah, I mean, it's. I think you have to. There's like a little candle, I think, like inside your head, with a little flame, and it can get put out so easily by like A&Rs or even just like YouTube comments and stuff. You know, I think protecting that little flame of like. And because I think you do have to be really, really honest with yourself, you know, because you do know if you've sung a good song, I think you know it, and I think if it's shit, you also know it.
But you've always said that, you know, I'm not a rapper. For a long time, I saw like quite a lot of interviews and stuff where you've kind of spoken out and said, I don't. Was that because you weren't comfortable in being branded a rapper?
I think, to be honest, I think it's like, you know, watching like Kano on Fire in the Booth. You know, that's to me that's the best Fire in the Booth of all time. Comment below, please. Crud, talk crud. No. But yeah, that's a rapper to me, and like, I'm not a rapper. I'm not a rapper. I'm a storyteller, like on like rap music.
You got voted number 4 though in the noisy.
Number 1 cracker. I like that.
Whoa!
I'll have that.
But how did you actually get into it though? So how did you get your first big break?
Well, I mean, I just made Has It Come to This, and just
Big
sort of.
tune.
Yeah, and I mean, I was kind of making like white labels, stuff like that at the time. I'd been doing sort of different stuff. But I just, I think it just sort of happened, you know, just sort of happened. People, it's not so much like, how did you do it? It's like, it's the audience's response.
Yeah.
Like, you know, people are making songs every day now on YouTube, and that was never different in my day. People were making songs, but it's really just like, how does the audience react?
Yeah.
And I think if you knew, then you'd probably try and do it every time. But none of us can do it every time.
Yeah, no, of course.
But yeah, I think it's just you're a certain age, you know. I mean, I had a very like clear idea of you know, wanting to combine. Sort of like, yeah, we were all listening to garage, and we were all listening to like Nas as well.
Yeah,
so it was really just like that.
Yeah.
And just sort of like Mobb Deep and stuff. And then you know, obviously not being able to talk about shooting guns because we were in the suburbs.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
Yeah, no, most definitely. What I've always respected about you as well is like your knowledge in music. It seems like you're quite clued up, like even in terms of like some of the artists that you've always brought to the forefront in your kind of time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, even the likes of Kano. I like the stuff you did with Kano early on. I feel like you might have even Kano. Your video might have been Kano's first video, maybe. I think, I'm not sure.
The Mitchell Routine Check. I think it was his.
No, I don't think Routine Check come before. What was the remix with Lady Sovereign and all that on there?
Deneo.
Was that before? Was that after Routine Check? The one where Kano's wearing the fur jacket.
Yeah.
Oh no.
That what's the name of that tune? Yeah, just to
you know, the remix,
Yeah.
with Danette. Yeah,
Was that
Danette.
Kano's first video?
Maybe that was. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think that was
sure,
his first
but
video.
I can't remember seeing Kano in the video before.
No, I was
that.
thinking of Routine Check, but yeah.
That was before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and then even like I loved what you did with Gigs when that all came out. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you've always had like.
Talk to us about that song there. How did that actually
Slow
come?
songs.
Slow songs with Gigs.
Yeah,
I think it was
mean,
a surprise to quite a lot of people at the time.
Yeah, I mean, it was a surprise to me as well. I mean, that was probably like, for me, that was kind of that was like that. I didn't actually really come out of that feeling that good. Like, not, I mean, I loved Gigs, but just my element in that, and maybe like the jumper I was wearing as well. But it was kind of That hit me. It hit me quite hard. Actually, it hit me quite hard.
What? Because you didn't like the jumper you was wearing?
It was just. I think I reacted. I was quite tired. I mean, listen, like talking the hardest. It was an incredible time, and just to be around. I mean, and also now what he's become now. I'm so proud of him. For not so much even just the music thing, just like navigating what he had to navigate to get where he's got. I think, literally, hands down, I've never seen a transformation like that in my whole career. It's fairly easy for me to come down from Birmingham and go and stay at my auntie's house and try and but yeah, I think people like Giggs, what they have to navigate and to just sort of be around it at the beginning really was a career highlight for me. But yeah, no, it was more, I don't know, it was, but you got to understand, like now, Giggs, if I did a song with Giggs now, I think people would be like, it would kind of make sense somehow, just on some level. But like, when he first came out, it was hood. Do you know what I mean? It was hood music, wasn't it? And so it was just like some of the reactions to it, I was a bit like, oh, fuck.
Well, there were good reactions though.
Yeah, it was positive, no?
Well, thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying
But
that.
it wasn't positive.
Yeah, no, I just felt like, he's a legend, but I just felt like my bit wasn't really 100, really, I don't know. At the time, I think I was being insecure at the time, but that I'm being honest.
So, Mike, obviously, you've released that track with Giggs, and obviously for our realm, like this has been well responded to, it's been well received. But obviously, there are other fans that you have another fan core base. Did everybody respond in the same light?
To slow songs?
Yeah.
No, it was really just the sort of it was more his fans that I was. And I don't think they really disliked it so much. It was just I found it quite full on. But I was, you got to remember, I'd done like 5 albums, literally on the bounce. I was literally like, didn't know what I was doing.
Because he wasn't sure that he liked it either. So he was like, okay, I feel like this is a bit shit. Not sure.
When did he say that?
Is that what he said?
Yeah, he said, you lot did an interview together. I watched it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, they did an interview together. I'll show you. And he said, I wasn't sure that I liked it. And then you lot sent it back to him and it was a bit more polished. And he was like, yeah, I'm feeling this.
Yeah.
He wasn't sure he liked it.
No, slow songs goes down. I saw slow songs being performed at, I think, Love Box last year.
What, Giggs was performing it?
I think he did.
I've never seen him perform it.
I think he did.
That would
I'm
be
pretty
amazing.
sure I think he did.
Amazing.
And the
There's so
crowd
much
was
thinking happening
and
here.
the crowd was feeling it. Love Box last year, literally. I think
Redemption. I didn't come here for redemption, but man,
it's all good. Let's talk about how you, because the Giggs thing, I can see how you clocked that on.
yeah,
Because the Giggs was so big in the hood that if you had any clue about music,
yeah.
do you know what I'm trying to say? If you had any clue about music, you could make that move so early on.
Yeah.
That was a good move. That was I can't say that was genius, but what was genius was because he was so big at the time.
Yeah.
But how did you find Kano so early? Like how? Because you found Kano before a lot of people found Kano. Like,
nah, but you only had to really at that time. All you had to do was to watch everything that Wiley was doing. He brought through Chip, Ice Kid, Kane. Like, I think there's just moments where and shout out to Chantel Fiddy as well. Chantel Fiddy was like my.
That's who the interview was with.
She was like my big time plug. But I think if you again, it's not so much like being on him that early. It's just really having the, and I think everyone can do it. But it's that little flame inside your head. It's like, do you like it? If you like it, then you have to really protect that flame and just go through and push forward with what you like, and there's loads of rappers that you might hear, and and you just have to make positive, like, big steps when other people maybe, when the common consensus isn't with you.
And at that time as well, I really liked the fact that obviously because you had so much spotlight on yourself, I liked how you signed the Mitchell Brothers. and the work you did with them. I feel like at the time it was a brave move because everybody was rapping so differently to the Mitchell brothers, but what the Mitchell brothers did, like, and how they did it really works. Like, even songs like Routine Check, like, that's like an incredible song with a great flipping narrative. Like, even the videos, when you watch the videos now, like, people don't even do videos like that then. So
Yeah.
how did you find them, and what happened to the Mitchell brothers? Where are they now?
I haven't. It was in the bank in Brixton.
You found them in the bank in
Where he
Bristol?
found me in the
Who?
bank. Teddy Mitchell.
Yeah.
Teddy. He gave me his CDs back then.
Yeah.
And again, I think if you like something, you shouldn't. Every big rapper was a local rapper at some point.
Yeah. So what happened? What happened with that relationship? Where is it now?
I haven't spoken to Teddy. I think Tony was a bit angry by the end because I think he thought that. I mean, it did all right, that album, but we spent like £1 million on that label.
Wow, you spent £1 million. What, on that project alone, or the label?
The beats, yeah. So it was Professor Green, Example, and the Mitchell Brothers.
I was going to say.
How about Leo the Lion? Was he not?
No, he wasn't signed. He just guested on some of the Streets tunes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and obviously sang.
But what about you signed Professor Green as well, right?
Yeah. But it wasn't until he went on to Virgin that he made loads of money. So he didn't actually make money.
So talk to us about, obviously, you find talent and you're like, okay, I'm going to sign you to my label, and then there's like there's a really great period and everyone's really happy, and then there's a bit of an iffy period. Like, what happens there, and what's happened with those acts?
I think there's like two lessons to be learned. There's like the old thing, which is what everyone's been so burned about. I think was the sort of like, that sort of Tinchy Strider, that sort of N-Dubs era that people are really going against now. They're like, no, we don't want to be in deals because all the major labels want to do is wash the music, and actually, Skepta has shown us that you can, gigs, that you can do it on your own, and nowadays I'm a bit like, I think there's a middle ground. I think you need a role model. You need role models. You need like older people who you trust and you fuck with to guide you. And I think there's a lot of record deals that have gone really well, but I think the problem with rappers, particularly back in the day, was that they used to just want massive advances, and actually, if you have a massive advance, then you have a massive amount of money to pay back, and so when things don't go don't go clear really quickly, they say, well, we need a pop hit. We need to get Fraser T to come in and make this, and that's when it goes wrong. That's when the culture fails. So
is this what happened with those particular artists?
No, I mean, I just think that's where we are now. Is like speaking to rappers a lot and grime MCs. No one wants to be signed now. They all want to do it on their own, and that's why I think that there's lessons to be learned from both, because I think it's positive that people can just send it to GRM Daily or Link Up TV, and they can they can make it happen on their own. But what I'm seeing is the people that are doing well, I think have got a really stable influence in their life. Kano's got Richard Thomas. Giggs has got Buck. Like, it's if you're just like a load of like wild kids from the bits. I think you need to work out what you're.
Yeah, you need someone a bit level-headed around you that can.
And that can be a label, and that can be a manager.
Yeah, no, definitely, 100%. Please, what was you going to ask him? That we've been cutting you off for the last 20 minutes?
No, it's been very interesting. No, I was just going to go back to. I wasn't going to go back to it, but you picked up what I was going to say basically about the label in terms of Pro Green and example.
So who out of that label, out of the Beats label, who do you feel like maybe you could have done a bit more with? Obviously, we're all not perfect, and you was probably learning the game a little bit yourself at the time.
I think the biggest mistake, the thing that I don't do now, is that I try and make as few creative decisions as I can, like whenever I'm working with another artist, because particularly I think if you're an artist yourself, every little decision that you make for them or that you sort of influence, you're sort of actually making them more and more like yourself. Yeah. And I think certain managers, like certain artists, I think when you look at them, you're really looking at their manager, the decisions that their manager's making about producers and down to everything, the way that they promote their records, that can come from a manager. And when a good artist is really great, most of it comes from them. But so I think that what I try and do now is to try not to make any. It's kind of you just trying to like amplify what it is that they are, but without really making any decisions. And I think there's an art in that.
So when's the last time you and Pro spoke, for example?
Wow.
Sorry.
What?
Last time you and Professor Green spoke.
What do you mean?
Like just in general.
When did I speak to him?
Yeah, like
literally like a few days ago.
Oh.
Yeah,
I say like that. It's like
no, I didn't know. I didn't realize what you were asking me. No. Green. He sent me like a beat and stuff. Yeah. I mean, he's still signed to Relentless.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's when he went off and did his own thing, it was amazing.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So I think probably I was right to sign him. But actually, maybe we probably needed to just let him, we didn't stop him being him, but I think somehow we needed to just amplify that rather than anything else.
Who do you wish you had signed though, out of everybody in the game? Because you could have at one point maybe. Is there anybody that you wish that, is there an artist that you love so much you just wish you actually were a huge part of their career?
I mean, it never would have happened, but I mean, I kind of wanted to sign Kano, but the best, and really, I think it just would have been a nightmare. It would have been the worst thing he could do.
Yeah.
And luckily, I kind of got to work with him.
Yeah, no, most definitely.
I mean, Kano's probably like the person that I'm like closest to, out of like rappers,
Yeah, I know he holds you in a bit of a high regard. You were in discussion when it came to the Rated Awards about who to present his Legacy Award to. So obviously, he done something right over there. Yeah, no, definitely.
So what about you and Kano working on any projects? Is that something that's on the cards?
Yeah, I mean, I sent him this Darker the Shadow stuff I've been doing. I mean, I've been doing it for about a year. I've only started really putting it out in the last sort of month or two. But I sent him the first one I did a year ago, and he really liked it. So yeah, he's. I mean, literally, whatever Kano would want me to do, I would do. To be honest.
Let's talk about "Blinded by the Lights," one of the greatest songs to ever come out of humanity. How did that happen, man? I don't think that's one of them songs you can't recreate. Like once you make it, it's probably would you agree in saying it's the best song you've ever made? Yeah, and I think
it's quite relevant now, like...
I love the way you smile when we bring up "Blinded by the Lights." He knows it's a classic.
Back in the day, that wasn't that wasn't the motive, really, was it? You know, that was like it was a slightly like white guy wasted tune, wasn't it? But now it's like, you know, in Visions, it's like, no, you can see there's some jaws going now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I think it's hitting the spot now.
Yeah. Did you know what you were making when you created it?
No, of course not. I mean, every time you make a song, I think you think it's like the best song you ever did on the day you do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I mean, I've been writing songs. I've been writing songs every day for like since I started. You know, I've never really stopped. No, you don't know. I don't think how good stuff is. And now I'm kind of like on the day that I'm doing stuff, I think it's amazing, and then by the evening I'm just like whatever. It's
have been like, for someone who's like done so much, you have this aura about you that is like, when you want to be seen, you kind of are seen.
Yeah, people say that,
and then you
like,
just like this. I remember one time I saw you like two years ago. I've been seeing you recently too, but just at parties.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, but because I've seen you around, I know you're about to do something. I don't know what it is you're about to do, but couple houses you're about to be paid for. So I was just at a party one time and I just saw you the DJ, but I was like, oh, that's Mike Skinner. I was thinking, yo, Mike Skinner, you get what I'm trying to say? But then it's like, when you're not want to be seen, you're just ghost. Like, is that something you do on purpose? Do you feel like it's beneficial to you, or
no?
Are we just not seeing you
I mean,
around?
Dave says that to me. I don't know. I mean, I don't have a manager at the moment. So I guess there isn't really. But it's more like I'm more just like flaky, to be honest. You know, I'm not like sitting there like, you know.
Which Dave says that to you?
Merkage Dave, sorry, who I work with.
Because that could be an interesting...
not Santan Dave. No, that would be
interesting. I
and
Santan Dave doing something, you know? Yeah. That would kind of work. Are you a fan of his?
Yeah, man, yeah. Actually, the 100 M's video, that was like I think it's like a mate of mine that directed. I didn't realise, but it's someone I know directed that. So.
Yeah.
Talking of Merkage Dave, Tonga.
Yes.
Let's talk Tonga.
Yeah.
Like, that just sounds like a shit-face fest. Like,
I mean,
the name of it by itself just sounds like a pendulum jaw.
No, it's actually kind of, well, it goes on for quite a long time. I mean, it's like the whole nightclub, right? But it actually so we play like bass music, and then like we'll play like trap records, you know, like keep it 100 or like sort of street records, but then we sort of mix it with like garage, I guess, and it's quite high energy sort of early on, and then as it gets late, Merkage Dave DJs, and he plays like sort of Visions music sort of towards the end, so it kind of like goes into like just like hood jams at the end.
That's been doing
which is
really
kind
well.
of like my favourite bit, to be honest.
And a lot of it's a real, it seems to be like a real white boy. It's a real white boy festival party.
Well, then you need to come through. You need to come through.
But I need to ask, like, how much drugs do I need to be on if I needed to?
No.
It sounds like that.
Wrong.
Does that not
You're
just
wrong.
sound like that post? Like, if you
need to come.
Like, entry requires you to show proof that you've taken a minimum of 20 ecstasy pills.
No, it's not really like that. There's like I DJ at a lot of raves, and actually Tonga is probably the least druggy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And sorry, Mike, don't want to go too deep or anything, but obviously, even when I was younger, I did envision you to be like this real active drug user. And for somebody who has like, I don't know if you've claimed some of these things in your music, like you look very well and
listen, don't get it twisted. I am your wave god's wave god.
Yes. Yes. Before we're about to get into that.
But it's like anything, isn't it? It's like our 6'7" just literally shooting guns in Brixton every day.
I don't know what you're talking about, Mike.
No, but it's
I don't think they've ever done that. But I know what you're trying to say.
Well, that's what they rap about.
It's like,
it's what they rap about, isn't it? So what I'm saying to you is, in the same way that they're not running around shooting guns every day, I'm not doing drugs every day.
Okay.
You said every day. Okay.
Yo, you did it once a year, Mike. I know you did.
So Mike, tell us about your worst scenario after a night out or in the night out. We want to hear this because you are the wave gods. We need to know what the wave is.
It's literally...
Show us the wave.
No, I mean, to be honest, it's just...
You're about to swerve, aren't you? I can hear it happening.
I'm gonna plead the...
Do you know what I want to
fifth.
ask, Mike? Do you know what I want to ask?
It's not pretty though, is it? It's not pretty. When you have a really good night out, you think it's like Hollywood, don't you? You just like, this is amazing. I love you. Like, we're all so beautiful. You know, and then you see the Snapchat the next day, right? And it's like, actually, you must have had that, right?
Yeah.
Times that by 10.
Okay, right. There you go. There you go. So the wheelchair and mobs times 10. Mad.
I've just been sitting here thinking, probably about 10 years ago from now.
10 years ago from now?
From 2007, early 2000s instead of 2007.
Yeah.
Or 2008. At like, when you were most active musically, right? I'm thinking, you're Big Mike Skinner, yeah? The white guy who's cool with the black people, yeah? So you got.
I'm not going to say the C word again. I'm sorry.
What's the C word?
The C word. I'm not going to use the C word.
What's the C word?
No, you shut me down earlier. Rewind the tape.
All right, we'll watch it later. Clarify. I don't remember the C word. But I'm saying you're the white guy that's cool with the black kid.
Yeah. So he was voted number 4 in the noisy.
Oh yeah.
Top 10 MCs of all.
Yeah.
100 MCs is it? How many MCs is it? 100.
I can't remember.
Yeah. Number 4. You remember the word he used to describe himself then?
I do.
Anyway,
I've never used it and I never will. So yeah, you're the guy who's cool with the black kids. You're at the Britzes, the Moboses, all of these great award shows and around all of these circles of women that just adore you because you're Big Mike and you're good in the hood. What was that like for you in that time, really?
Bro, I mean, listen, like I'm not gonna lie, like probably like as you get older, I think it's like it's a bit weird being in music and being a bit older sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't let you grow up.
100%.
But when you're like 21 and you like there's nothing like it for a 21-year-old.
Look at that smile.
There is nothing like it. There is nothing like it.
Yeah, I know. So
no drug that I've ever done comes close.
What was the worst thing about it? Would you say at that time? Was there times where you were struggling with like headlines?
Yeah, I mean it's
just
the paranoia. I think like your face gets baked. Do you know what I mean? You're just fucking baked. And like, probably the worst time was I did a Reebok campaign. I was on the bus on the Reebok advert, and it was literally like you couldn't even go 10 steps down, like through town. Like it was just you couldn't. It was
couldn't
like,
do anything.
You were like famous. I mean, I was never that famous, but like no. And then I lived in New York for a while, just because. It was so the worst thing is like the paranoia, and I see it in rappers now. It's like you can see that it takes them a while to warm up a bit because they don't know what people are going to say to them, you know. And especially if you're like a rapper who's like being tough. Do you know what I mean? If you're like a tough rapper, it's like. People,
that's what I'm saying.
You don't know what people are going to do.
It's interesting to know that even comes into your head because...
I mean, the worst thing that happens to me is people are like, right, Mike, I want to do drugs with you. That's what they do. And that's not that bad. You can just say, no, and then they'll be like, oh, he's not really about it. He's not really about it. But, imagine if you're a tough guy, like...
Yeah.
Was you ever close to the edge, though, in terms of drugs and alcohol? Would you say...
Yeah, I mean...
did it ever go too far for you?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it's
what
pretty...
was the turning point?
Well, no, but it's...
The ice statue.
No, that was the beginning, actually. That was when it started getting good, like... No, I mean, it's not that interesting, really. It's just like, if you sort of like deplete all the serotonin in your brain, then you don't you can't feel happy.
They
It's
say
really
that, don't
just
they?
that simple.
They compare it to a promoter. I'm not even going to go there. A promoter that can fill a capacity, a room of 500 people is really happy. And then when they go onto a stadium and they can only bring 500 people into the stadium, they can't feel happiness again. But that's what happens when you take drugs.
Yeah.
You can't feel happiness until you feel the 5,000.
That Shubs is looking empty.
No, I understand what you're saying. Let's speak about what's been popping off on Instagram today, just to get your little 2 cents on it. So obviously, apparently, there's a Wiley diss track on a so-called brand new Dizzy Rascal album.
Well, the tweet, like I saw that he said he was going to drop it like this evening or something. Was that yesterday? That tweet?
I don't really know the ins and outs because I've been driving a lot today. But I've heard it's going down in some form or whatever. And I feel like this could possibly be the greatest clash in our lifetime, just because of how long it's been going for, not speaking for, all of this kind of stuff. Not the actual music, but just for something to happen.
I think Wiley is one of the most beautiful minds I've ever met.
Yeah,
he's just to talk to and spend time with. He is really special in his head. I mean, clearly, his, his Not For The Radio was amazing, right?
Yeah, he's had 2.
Yeah, the recent one with the, I'm not going to go into it. That's, you watch it. I kind of know Dizzy. I saw him last year in Ibiza. But I mean, I don't know any of them that well, but I do think that Dizzy is a bit like, I kind of feel like he would be like, this is the reason why I went clear. Because that's kind of, when I read it, I was a bit like, this is the reason why I don't do this.
Yeah.
He's not like Skepta, who will clash anyone just for whatever.
For the sport.
Yeah, for the sport.
Yeah.
I don't know, but we all want Dizzy to get like a fire in his belly, don't we? That's what we all want.
To be honest, I've heard a couple of Dizzy verses in the last couple of years, and when he wants to go for it, it really
absolutely
does.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I'm really keen to see where it goes, just because I feel like it's a bad idea. It's definitely a bad idea because Wiley, he's just like the warlord, you know what I mean? He loves it. Like,
yeah,
he's just going to be going in for like 30 minutes and we're not going to be bored at all. I just feel like Dizzy's going to say something, Wiley's going to say something, and Dizzy ain't going to reply.
But like one of the most interesting things I think Wiley's ever said was that, the lifestyle change that he got from Rolex sweep. The fact that he talks about it in those terms, and the fact that I've kind of been through that, it's like, actually, when you get money, it's a beautiful thing. Do you know what I mean? It changes your whole life. You get your mama house and shit like that. And I think when you start to do stuff like that with your money, actually just having arguments with people on songs, it kind of doesn't seem as important because you're like feeding your family, literally feeding generations of your family. So you can tell from like Wiley, that's, it made a big difference to him. And actually, so in that sense, Wiley's still got a lot to prove over like Dizzy. And I also think Dizzy's, he's set, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? He's like he's got a good lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like hopefully, for, as a fan, it would be great to see stuff happen.
What's your the nicest thing you've done for a member of a family then, based on the example you just set? So for example, being able to buy your mama house. When Stormzy was here, he revealed some of the things that he'd been able to do for his family, which is really aspirational. So what do you think that is your biggest achievement for you?
Well, my family live in a house.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
That's it, really.
Yeah, that's good. I think it's really important that people know that those things are obviously achievable. I think especially it is important. And when you're doing those things, it's kind of like your mindset changes in terms of what's important or what's not.
Yeah.
That's why it's like when you say something like, "Oh, Dizzy needs that fire in his belly."
Yeah, I mean, you do, you know, because if you've got a nice lifestyle, it just becomes noise.
Yeah.
It's just like over
That's
there.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
You know, when you're coming up and you're like trying to get a name, you are 10 toes, aren't you? Just like I need to be the coolest guy in the game, and I need to, you know, body everyone.
Yeah.
But as I say, money's a beautiful thing.
That's why often the second album is the most difficult, right? For a lot of artists, because you're just in a total different space to you was in the first album.
Yeah.
Was it difficult for you?
Well, my second album wasn't difficult. My lifestyle kind of changed quite a lot. But I guess it really all kind of happened on my third album. I just managed to delay it really, because I think I was very focused on making the music that that I wanted to hear. But I mean, nowadays actually, almost like Drake's like first album sounded like my third album. Do you know what I mean? It's that because like now it's like rap. I used to call it like rapping about rapping, you know, and it was almost like something that was a bad thing, you know, where you like. I think it in like rock and roll and stuff. It's like when you start singing songs about being on the road and, you know, being hungover all the time. People are like, oh, "Fuck off, mate." Do you know what I mean? Here's a tiny violin, you know, for you. Like it's like whatever.
Yeah.
I want to hear that, like, you know, that real sort of stuff. I want that lifestyle. But now rappers are rapping about being on tour with a hangover, sort of all the time.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm really keen to see where it goes in terms of like, well, us growing up when we listen to rap, like you said, Nas or whoever. It's what's interesting about that is because their situations change so drastically over each album.
Yeah,
you always heard a certain type of growth and a certain type of experience, and now that it's happening for us, I'm really interested to see where the MCs take the things that they're talking about. Like it was very easy for us to hear about someone talking about shooting a gun or all of these activities for like 10 years straight. It's like shit, you're still, you know what I'm saying? It's very nice to hear the growth and say, all right.
Yeah, I mean,
I just copped you know what I'm saying? It's like it is different.
Winning.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you? Oh, sorry.
No.
Do you ever feel like?
Mike. What's wrong with you?
Oh, did you see my retraction?
I think you're getting a pretty hard time on this. Like,
it's all right. It's all right. This all gets strangled afterwards anyway. So, 15 years since original Pirate Material. Like that's major for us. You're talking about kind of seeing a scope.
Yeah.
Like how has that been for you? Like, so you start off. Did you ever foresee these heights?
No, to be honest, I mean this. Like, if I'd have been able to tell myself that you will be on 15 years' time, you will be on like the top rap talk show that you love, that would be all I wanted. Seriously, that would be all I wanted. That was all I wanted back then. Because
it still shows that you're credible and you got your finger on the pulse, which is why I wanted to ask you, why do you still care? Because sitting across me from now, it's like you've already been through the paranoia. You've already been at the top of the game. Like, we're going to get into the documentary that you've just done. You're going to the hood. I don't know why, but we're going to ask you why.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm trying to say. You're still doing things that show that you actually really, really, truly care for the culture. Is it because... Why is it? Because is it financially? Is it because you...
It's not financially.
I know, we can tell.
Financially, it's
God damn, that
behind
watch.
you there.
My God. No, but you know what I'm trying to say? Like, how can you still care? Because, like, not talking about any other people like that, but, like, even some people that have even come from the grime and rap industry, that actually from it, once they go past a certain stage, don't necessarily keep their finger on the pulses like this. I would never see them talking about 6-7 or like even admit that they know that they're like probably one of the most popular street forms of music out now. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And they're big dogs. Do you know what I'm trying to say? The people. Yeah. So it's like, why do you still care? Why are you still here?
I'm just into. I just there's quite a lot of hours in the day, aren't there? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that you have to keep busy, and I think that you have to just do what you love. There's something a little bit like Buddhist about it or something.
So where do you get all your information from? Because you haven't said to me nothing which sounds like you don't know what you're talking about. And usually I can tell when people don't know about music. So where do you get your information from? How does it work? Do you wake up in the morning? What platforms are you on? Are you on platforms? Are you subscribed to the right Twitters? Like what? Or have you got a plug like how you used to have Chantel before?
Yeah, I think you have like a lot of plugs. You have like friends. I mean, I think when you're at school, you are like so connected, aren't you? You just like literally because you're in the playground and you're just like getting all this information, and people are like, "Oh, did you watch Not for the Radio? Have you heard the new Harlem Spartans or whatever?"
So I think you have to just. He even knows about Harlem. No. Stop it, man.
No, but like you have to. I think Tonga is really helpful. We spend a lot of time in a van going to, we do a night in Berlin, we do a night in Birmingham. So you just, you spend a long time in nightclubs. I was watching, it was The Breakfast Club, and someone was like, "Oh, I see you, you've been putting in work in the clubs, you've been putting work in." And you can kind of look at that and you're like, putting work in the club? Like, that's not work, that's partying, isn't it? But actually it kind of is. It's kind of like, if you hang around that stuff for long enough, you just... it's a beautiful... I think probably what really, really gets me excited is just hearing a big record and maybe a record that you didn't know, like Robbery Remix. It was just like, fuck, this is huge. You know what I mean?
It's on GRM Daily.
But like when a lot of people, like Posty said, they get past a certain point and it's like, okay, I've had my legend status, I've done my bits, and then they're like, oh, I don't like this noise or this new music. They kind of get disgruntled by the new wave, because 6-7 is very different to the kind of type of music that
boom bap.
Yeah, there you go. So it's definitely really different to what you were making. So it's like
I think probably the best answer is probably just that I DJ, and I want to play stuff that people like, and I don't just want to play boom bap.
Would you ever get back into the situation of signing people again, if you could?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Oscar World Peace, who's doing really well. That was a kind of thing where I wanted to sign him or something. But again, it's like nowadays, I think probably the best, when Oscar goes clear, I'll be able to say that, I think I was some sort of role model to him. But I think in this day and age, I think it's not really about sort of signing people. I don't think you can really sign anyone these days. I mean, unless you give them racks. Because there's not really a lot you can do that they can't do themselves.
Yeah, no.
But I think actually if someone does well, everyone kind of eats, don't they?
Yeah.
It's kind of this weird thing.
Butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Dominoes effect. Butterfly is something else, isn't it? Yeah, dominoes.
I could have a Dominoes now.
Just an effect.
We're gonna have a drink actually after this.
Nice beer, cold beer.
We're gonna celebrate.
It's a big day, man. Especially for us. You know, you're probably top 5 people we'd love to interview. With the likes of Wiley. Dizzy's the only legend we haven't done yet.
Shall I text him?
Skepta in as well, and Jeremy.
Oh yeah, those 2. But that's like upcoming years.
I really want D Double, man, because he doesn't talk. I want to hear him talk.
He's coming.
Yeah?
I say I tweet it every week. I'm like, can we just get D Double? And not to him, just in general. Because he doesn't talk. I'd love to hear his personality. I've seen him, you know, you pass him, you say hello.
You should just come and do the Birdman thing with us. Just walk in, ooh, and just dive. Shut the neck.
Shortest ever, not for the radio.
Yeah. It could work though. So let's talk about the documentary.
Like Birdman, you know, on the Breakfast.
On the Breakfast Club, yeah, when he came and shut it down.
Put some respect on my
internet.
name.
Yeah, trust me. So yeah, there's this new doc.
Yes.
Let's talk about it. Looks like a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, it started out as this was over a year ago. I was like, because I'm quite tight with Alex at Vice, and I was like, you know, I want to do something about road rap, you know, what we called it back then, what I called it back then, and it was this. You know, it was this almost like sort of unsaid thing, you know, and that was the starting point, because really road rap is quite an offensive term, I think, but you know, let's not get it twisted. And going back quite a long time, you know, there was a whole like swathe of like street music that was on YouTube that didn't seem to exist anywhere else.
What rappers are you talking about when you say that you maybe started out listening to?
I don't want to name names because it's offensive. I think some people find it offensive. But everyone called it road rap. Like that was what people called it. So I was like, but this is a while ago. You know, a lot's happened in the last year. It started off with that, and then we've been interviewing sort of people for the past year, but none of them really you could say is road rap, because for me it's kind of more like it's like the evolution of street rap and what that is now. So we spoke to 6-7, Section Boys, Pot of Paper. Scorbeezy from Battersea, Corleone, Seabiz. Is that everything? That was 6, wasn't it? Yeah. So you know, it's all just it's kind of like a variety, really, of real street rap.
So what are you guys doing? You going to their hoods, and asking where this music stems from, how they got into it. Or is that what basically?
Yeah. No, we went to Brixton Hill and hung out with 6-7, and then we went to a secret location to hang out at the section mansion. Yeah. But you know, Bermondsey with Corleone, Kilburn, Seabiz.
Yeah. Which was your obviously I'm sure you enjoyed meeting all of them and sharing their time with them, but which was your favourite day and why? Because I could see you probably caught a lot of jokes with Seabiz. He's a character.
He is.
He has a lot of fun. So what was that like?
It was great. I mean, they were. I enjoyed all. I learned so much. Like as a fan, I learned so much. You know, even like like my one of my favourite street rap records is Poor Little Rich Kid, Corleone. So that was great. But he was like, he had so much like to say, really, like in general, you know, about that sort of dynamic, about making that transition. You know, and obviously, I mean, Section Mansion's crazy. You know, it's like in the middle of nowhere. You know, that's the dream. I think, you know, the Section Mansion. That's the dream. Like when if you're like a teenager. That's probably the best place you want to be. Yeah, that's where you'd want to be.
They spoke about it a little bit on the doc, didn't they? About, you know, that this is what man them want. It's like, okay, me and my mates are all going to move into a mansion together, and it's going to be a madness.
Yeah, and it's just like boxes of trainers everywhere.
It's like being on holiday for the whole year.
It is literally.
And then it's about staying there for as long as you can. Trust me.
Yeah, or just a glorified treehouse. I always wanted a treehouse. I don't know if you don't want a treehouse, but it was never going to happen.
We didn't want a treehouse.
Who, me?
We didn't.
Why? Whatever. I'm not even doing that. You never wanted a treehouse.
You
never watched an American film and thought, I want a fucking treehouse. You never thought that? Okay, cool. I did. I wanted one badly, so I built one in my cupboard.
Beats me a hotel. That's what I want.
When
not a
you was how old, Posty? How old was you when you wanted the hotel deets?
16.
Exactly.
So how old was you?
Who wanted a treehouse when they were 16?
How old did you want it?
A child. We're talking about childhood.
You've got two different philosophies. I like it. You're sort of like aim for the stars, get to the moon.
Yes.
And you're just a lot more realistic. I like it.
I just wanted a treehouse when I was like 7 or 8. I never wanted to get deets to hotel. If I did, it would be a problem.
I don't lie.
So you've never deets the hotel?
Never, actually. Never.
You deets the hotel?
Nope.
Is that your one looks like an official note?
You've definitely never deets the hotel.
I've what?
Deets. Sure, what deets in hotels?
Oh, deets.
Yeah.
No, I'm no. I'm not on deets, bro. I'm not on deets. Yeah. No. My credit card doesn't actually work today, so he's buying.
Shout Alex. God damn. Are you lot all hungry?
Maybe someone's deets my card.
They might have done.
Yeah.
And if they haven't, you let me know. And we can organise that for you. No, joking. All right, cool. So it sounds good. When's the doc actually out? Should be out when it's
Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday.
Wednesday. No, most definitely. Where's that launching on the Vice website or on the Noisy?
Yeah, Noisy.
Lovely. How long is it?
It's like half an hour. It's an easy watch.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
And does this fit your expectations? Because I know that a while back you was making a film that you was going to be making forever.
Yeah, I'm still making a film that I'm making. I actually just collaborated like literally last week with like a script writer, like last week. So it's because I did a thing with Alexa Chung for her like clothes. I did like this song and made this like video thing with them. So that was a really good, because it was quite a big operation as a director. It really it helped me to sort of pattern my film a bit more, just in terms of like people.
So talking about the directing and the filming, so like I said, that's been something that's been on the cards for you for a while, and then you seem to have been evolving. So you've done this short film.
Yeah.
You've done the thing for Alexa Chung.
Yeah.
What is it that kind of stimulates you to do that?
I mean, just there's quite a lot of hours in the day, so and it's really. I mean, I just love it. I love music. I love new things, and I've got a lot of energy. I always have.
Okay. And I just want to get this question answered, because people often talk about the relationship with drugs and creativity.
Yeah.
How true do you think that is?
I mean, I think that it's kind of bollocks, but I mean, when you smoke weed, you kind of, obviously you just come up with loads of mad ideas, don't you? But like, it's like finishing it off is a problem when you're stoned. And I actually think if you add it all up, it's like, what? I mean, I think some of the best things you come up with, definitely, like, you might be like a bit waved, and but it's not about being waved. It's about being free. Yeah, you're just like on that like freeness thing. It's your social time. So so I think you do come up with better stuff. But actually, I'm a big. It's one of my things actually about rap is like, we just did a thing with Getz actually, who was crazy. He like turned up to do like a 16 for something that I'm working on, and I mean it was like sort of Jay-Z or something. It was just like he comes in and he's just like, right, and he just like does it, and it's amazing.
Energy is amazing.
But I think a lot of and you can tell when you listen to gigs, he really thinks about what he says. And I heard stories about that. He would record like one line at a time and then just like go back and like smoke a zoot or whatever, and then record another line. And I think there's this ego thing with rap where it's like you think you should be able to just turn up and just do a 16 and, you know, and it's amazing. And I think it used to take me months to write songs. And so I think that, I think it's a good idea to just like slow it down a bit and just don't expect that you're going to write you could, if you write a 16 and then you maybe come back the next day and listen to it, there'll be things that you can make better. Like there'll be lines that you can make them ring off better, you know, if you just change it a bit and spend more time on it and just don't listen to your ego so much, you know.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I even think that even applies to aspects of like business and that, because like even making decisions, like there's definitely something that works when you feel yourself so much that you make those creative decisions and you even try and inspire people around you or whatever when you're under the influence or all of these kind of things. But it's also about...
You got to finish it off.
Yes, looking back when you're sober and think, You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, for the past 2 months, I've been drunk, but I've been shelling, And then I realized at the end of the show, I was just like going around giving all inspirational speeches and stuff. Yeah. And then when I was sober, I was like, fuck, man. I must look like a madman. So now I'm going to do another 2 months sober and then get back to the fun. So it makes sense what you're saying, definitely.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it was a nice place. Festival season's approaching.
Yes.
Is there any specific festivals that you haven't performed at and would love to?
Well, we're excited. We're doing Wireless on Sunday. That's the thing, isn't it? But I have done Wireless before. I thought I hadn't, but I have. But the main one for us is NAS, which is out in like Somerset, which is a really good festival. It's kids go mad there. But we're doing like a whole stage, which is kind of our dream as Tonga, to do like a whole stage. So we've got Daniel OG, JK,
nice,
and then just like tons of DJs.
Nice. So what can we look forward to after this documentary? Is there anything in the pipeline that we should be like really looking out for?
I mean, I'm going to be just doing more of these Darker the Shadow. I mean, I would like to actually, with Darker the Shadow, I'd like to start getting guests on there, like, you know, so get some people sort of coming on the song.
No, most definitely. I'd hopefully like to see you at award show later this year. I know you don't like award shows and you don't do them. Is there a specific reason?
It's pure insecurities. I find awards just the most. I find the whole thing. I get scared for other people. I get scared for myself.
It's just the whole breakdown. The whole time.
It's just so much. So much.
How did he win? Oh my god! Oh my god! I just did.
Because I always think, you know, when they announce that winner, I think, what about him?
Yeah.
He's just got to be like, oh, sorry, Mum.
And then the camera flashes to you and you got to act happy.
You got to be happy.
Oh, yeah.
It terrifies me.
It's mental. We'll try and work on that, though. I mean, you've done crazier things in life, so maybe one day you could just, you get me, we'll work on that. But yeah, no, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here.
It's such a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Hopefully it won't be like the one time. Hopefully you can pop down again once.
I can say I've done it. I can say I've done it.
Yeah.
I can tell my mum.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might retire, actually. Is
it?
Yeah.
God damn. We appreciate that, man. Thank you so much for your time. Check out the documentary now, obviously.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a big look. Yeah, man, and keep pushing for our culture, man. We appreciate it, man. And bring some of your culture our way, you know what I mean? Just got some girls over there.
Drugs.
Yeah. Not for me, alcohol.
Drops mic.
And booty. Thank you. Mike Skinner, everyone.
Cheers.
#NFTR.